Hello and welcome to Jadwiga's fairy tale channel. The Wishing Ring, a fairy tale by Volkmann-Leander. One day a young farmer was sitting on his plough, resting for a moment, wiping the sweat off his brow, when an old woman came along and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He said, it's a pity. I can't make a living with this farm." "Well, so why do you stay here?" asked the old woman. "Well, this farm is everything I've got, and farming is the only thing I know, so I don't know what to do." "I can tell you," said the old woman. "If you go straight for 3 days this way, you will see a fir tree which is much taller than all the others. Cut this fir and you will be a lucky man." The farmer did not hesitate. He ran home, took his axe, and walked right into the direction the old woman had shown. And really, the third day, he saw a tremendously high fir tree, much higher than all the others, and he cut it down. And when it fell, he saw that there was a nest, an eagle's nest with 2 eggs. Both eggs broke when the fir fell on the ground. From one came a young eagle that grew rapidly, and the eagle said, "Oh, you have rescued me, thank you so much, and my thank is, take this ring from the other egg. It is a wishing ring. But be careful what you wish for, because there is only one single wish. Once this is done, it's just an ordinary ring. So be careful." And with these words, he opened his wings and turned to circles above the young man and then disappeared. The young man put the ring on his finger and said, "Wow, that's great." And he walked back home. On his way back home, he came to a city, and when he strolled along the roads, there was a goldsmith. And he looked into his window to see what he had, and then he entered the shop, took the ring off his finger and said, "What do you think this ring is worth?" The goldsmith looked at it and took his glass and said, "That's not very precious. I don't know, maybe 5 thalers or so." And he handed it back to the young man, but he laughed and said, "Oh no, you have no idea. This is a wishing ring." And he told the goldsmith what had happened. The goldsmith thought that he would like to have this ring, and so he invited the young man, and he served dinner for him and wine, lots of wine. He made him drunk, and when he was fast asleep, he took the ring off the finger of the young man and put another one that looked very similar on his finger instead. And next morning, he woke up this young man very, very early and said, "You have a long way to go, so you better hurry up." And he pushed him out of the house. And then he locked all the doors, the windows, he shut the shutters, and then sat down in his living room, looking for the ring, and then said, "I wish 100,000 thalers, gold thalers." this moment, it started to rain gold tailors. Oh, and they hit him. They hit his shoulders, his head. Oh, they were hard. It hurt. And he cried, oh, no, no, stop it, stop it. But he did not stop. He tried to escape, but the doors were locked and he could not open them because the gold coins were already so high that it was not possible to open the door. And he fell down and he cried and cried and cried, but still were these gold coins raining down upon him. And eventually the floor broke and he fell into the basement with all of his coins, and still it was raining. Next day, the neighbors found the goldsmith dead under 100,000 tailors. Now, his children came and they divided the gold and they were quite happy, while our young man was heading back home, having no idea what had happened behind him. Now, when he came home, he showed this ring to his wife and he said, it's a wishing ring, and we should think what we are going to wish. Oh, said his wife, that's easy. We need more land. With more land, we are able to make a living with this farm. Wait, said the farmer. There is only one wish, you know, and we should be careful. So I suggest we work a bit harder this year, and maybe at the end of the year we have enough money to buy this land. And then we have the land and still save the wish. And so they did. They worked a bit harder and made so much money that they were able to buy another piece of land. Well, said his wife, well, why not wishing for a cow and a horse? Well, said the farmer, a good idea, but I think if we have another good year like the previous one, we could buy a cow and a horse and still have our wish. And so they did. At the end of the year, they had made so much money that they could buy a cow and a horse. Now his wife had more ideas for this wish, but he always said, no, wait. There is only one wish, and you never know what could happen and what we really urgently need it for. And his wife said, well, I don't understand you. Before you had this ring, you were always complaining, if I had this, if I had that, if I were so or so. And now you can be king or Kaiser or Pope or at least a rich and wealthy farmer. And you just don't take this wish. We are spoiling our best years with work instead of making it easy for us. But he said no. Let's save this wish. We don't know what will happen. And from this time, they made more money year by year, and they became wealthier year by year. And after a couple of years, he was a rich and wealthy farmer. He had many acres. He had cows and horses and sheep and chicken and everything a farmer could wish for. And after many, many years, the farmer and his wife were taken back to God in the same night. And when the children and grandchildren gathered around the both weeping and crying and very, very sadly, one of the grandchildren wanted to pull off the ring of his grandfather's finger. But the eldest son said, "No, leave it there. Father never talked about that ring, but I feel it must have been a very special ring. Maybe our mother made it as a present for him. We will give this ring with him into his grave." And so they did. The wishing ring that was none was buried with the farmer. And nobody ever knew what kind of ring this was or was not. Yeah. Now you can see what a difference a strong belief makes. He could not make a living with his farm before he had this ring. But after he had got it, everything went perfectly. And actually, nothing really had happened but here. The only change was here in his head and maybe in his heart.